Life. You're about to go hog hunting with me and Kenneth Shepard, my neighbor and good friend. Kenneth, we've hunted from Colorado to your back door.
One of nature's most interesting insects is shown here. Can you see it?
So we're going to really get going and create some spark here, and this will start our fire.
Welcome to A Sportsman's Life. We're so glad you tuned in to join us for another exciting real-world outdoor adventure right here on A Sportsman's Life.
Folks, welcome to A Sportsman's Life. You're about to go hog hunting with me and Kenneth Shepard, my neighbor and good friend. Kenneth, we've hunted from Colorado to your back door out here,
Yes,
haven't
we have. We've had more fun. Well, no, we've had fun in Colorado, too.
I know, you're right. We've had more
We've
fun.
had a lot of fun here, too.
Folks, we keep pointing that way, but I saw a trail camera that Kenneth had, and I counted 46 hogs in that one frame.
Yes, yeah, they are on the move, no doubt.
People listening and watching us from all over, Kenneth, but they talk about coming to Texas. We live, well, we're on Kenneth's land. His home is right over there, and we're going to be hunting, probably shooting hogs 300 or 400 yards out there.
Yep. Actually, they're right up in here, too, Luke.
Folks,
they just start moving, they just move.
Last night, this is no kidding, I've got a hickory tree and a bunch of oaks in my front yard. I live on 3.5 acres. You can't shoot around there. I wouldn't do it. Well, neighbor houses.
Yeah.
I had hogs 30 feet from my bedroom. I didn't see them, but I looked out there and they'd been rooting and eating those hickory nuts.
It's incredible.
So we're using the AGM Global Vision thermal stuff, folks. This is the adder. Now, this is a cool one. I've bragged on this thing a lot, but it's got the audio too. You can film video and audio. And Kenneth's got an awesome rattler.
I got the rattler. And the rattler's more hog, I think, right?
It's good for anything. But here, let's hold it. See, this is more like a conventional rifle scope. I love the rattler. I love the adder. So
I do too. That thing is pretty nice.
Pretty handy. So we're going to try to, we're going to film through through one of these. We don't really, what we're looking for, friends, is a fat sow. It's about time for some sausage.
Yeah.
Spicy sausage.
Deer season opening pretty soon. We need some sausage in the mornings and some biscuits.
That's right.
It's time to go get it.
Well, Kenneth, let's go out here and see if we can round us up. We need to let the sun set just a little bit more, and then we'll get out there and see if we can get us a porker. What do you say?
I can't wait. I'm looking at it right now. I'm just itching to get out there.
Stay with us, folks. We're going to see what happens. Friends, these coyotes came out of nowhere. I was actually just scanning for hogs, and I know there was 4. I think there actually some more in the background. It looked like some pups, a couple of pups, and some probably with their mother, but they're almost grown. The smaller coyotes were almost grown. Came within an inch of shooting these coyotes, or one of them. You probably see the crosshairs here where I was aiming, but I wanted to get the pork. And then after the coyotes passed through, here comes the hogs. And if you look real close, that boar probably, I'm guessing, was 125 pounds, maybe, something like that. Not a big boar, but a good eater. He came out and hung up there a little bit in the brush on the left, and then when he came through, I had that AGM Global Vision adder, the crosshairs, right on his neck. And when we reviewed the film, if you have to pull it up on a bigger screen, you can see a little limb down there. And, not making excuses, but I think that bullet, that little 40-something grain bullet probably hit that limb, because the crosshairs, the rifle was dead on. So an exciting evening hunting. We didn't get a hog, we didn't get a coyote, but we're going to be back out there. It's only 1 mile from my house, so we got some plans coming up in the very near future to put some pork on the meat pole. Well, friends, it is now the morning after. I made the long drive of about 3/4 of a mile back home from Kenneth's house. I'm going to tell you, it was all I could do to stay off the trigger on that coyote. It was just, I had the slack taken up. I was about ready to squeeze that shot off. Had the crosshairs right on him. But I heard some hogs back there in the back, and I thought, well, if I shoot the coyote, I'm not going to get a hog. Well, I didn't get a hog anyway. The crosshairs were right on that hog's neck where I always shoot them. Looked at the video on a big screen, and if you look at it closer, there's a little bitty limb growing out sideways there. All I can think of, that little bullet zipping along at about 3,400 feet per second, probably hit that little twig, but didn't wound the hog. No sign of blood. The hog seemed pretty healthy when he was galloping off. I want to thank Mr. Kenneth Shepard, a good friend of mine. Kenneth used to guide with us up in northeastern Colorado for elk and bear hunts. We outfitted up there for several years. Great outdoorsman, a great sportsman. Kenneth did tell me to mention to Mr. Whitetail that now the campgrounds on his place, where Larry stays sometimes, where he camps out, is now a toilet there, running water and a flush commode. So Larry, next time you get up this way, Kenneth's got a good spot for us to headquarter out there. Folks, I hope you've enjoyed our show. Man, I had an absolute ball. Didn't put any pork on the meat pole, but as you can see, that was about an hour hunt last night. There's hogs all over the place. We're going to get one, and we're going to get around to getting that breakfast sausage made. Got a lot more of interesting stuff in our show, some more real world outdoors, so let's get going and see what's coming next.
Brought to you by Dallas Safari Club, Conservation, Education, and Hunter Advocacy. Hornaday, accurate, deadly, dependable. Taurus Firearms, maker of the Raging Hunter. Trigicon, brilliant aiming solutions. One of nature's most interesting insects is shown here. Can you see it? It's called a walking stick. Walking sticks fall into the category of stick bugs or leaf bugs. They are masters of camouflage and blend well into the surroundings. Walking sticks are found worldwide. There are over 3,000 classified species of walking sticks. These little critters are primarily nocturnal. The predators that seek out these interesting little critters are bats, birds, reptiles, and spiders. Of note, some walking sticks can omit a substance through their skin that make them taste bad to avoid predators altogether, or they simply play dead. Walking sticks will spend most of their lives on a host plant species, which will help protect them and provide them food, such as leaves and new plant growth. The average lifespan of a walking stick is approximately 1 year. They're interesting and fun critters to watch. Just remember, walking sticks can't hurt you. You can actually pick them up and put them on your hand and let them crawl up your arm. It's always important to remember to never leave the ground without wearing a safety harness. Read the instructions that come with your harness to make sure you're using it properly. Check the expiration dates. Safety harnesses only last 3 to 4 years. Always inspect for wearing signs, tears, rips, or loose stitching. Never carry gear when climbing up a tree stand. Use pull-up ropes. And always check the stand straps before climbing as well. Never modify your harness from the original manufacturing specifications that came with the safety harness. Never ever hurry up a tree. Always tell someone where you're hunting. And lastly, carry a whistle in case you do need help and are unable to yell. A whistle works very well.
A Sportsman's Life is also made possible by Air Force Air Guns, AGM Global Vision, H3 Whitetail Solutions, and Pyramid Air.
Good morning, sports fans. This is Bill Carey with Striper Express with your fishing tip on A Sportsman's Life. Today we're going to talk about finesse fishing. Finesse fishing is, first of all, structure fishing, humps, ditches, main lake points, even mouths of creeks. We're fishing for the striped bass. Things cool down, the fish slow down a little bit. We like to target the big ones. They're on structure. When I say big, I'm talking about 15 plus pounds. So what I want you to do is, and we like to use this Sassy Shad jig. That is glow. The head glows and the tail glows. Awesome bait. So what I want you to do is when you cast out there, I want you to reel slow. I want you to think like a fish. I want you to feel everything. If you feel anything different, rip those lips, set that hook, hit them hard. Because what they're doing is they're sucking that bait in. Boom, if you don't hit him right there, it bounces off the back of his throat and he goes, pooey, it's over. I've seen many customers, rod tips, do that. And time-elapse hook set, we joke about it. You got to be right there with them. So think about it. Finesse fishing, anything different than the regular retrieve, think like a fish, rip those lips, and catch you a big striped bass. This is Bill Carey on A Sportsman's Life with Striper Express. Go catch a fish.
Conservation Today is brought to you by Hayden Outdoors Real Estate, the brand that sells the land. Visit HaydenOutdoors.com to find or sell your farm, ranch, or recreational property.
Hey, what just happened?
So I looked behind us and there was a coyote, and I just said there's a coyote.
Yeah. Were we gonna kill that coyote?
Yes, sir.
Why would we kill that coyote?
Because from it eating our baby deer, our fawns.
Why is it important that we keep him from eating our fawns?
So then our fawns can grow up to be bigger deer.
That's right, give us a future. Keep that in mind. Teach your kids, teach the next generation the importance behind monitoring predation by predator management, because our fawns are our next generation, but they're our next generation as well. And if we don't teach them the importance behind it, then we're not serving a good purpose to the next generation. I'm Brandon Houston with H3 Whitetail Solutions.
The best way to start a fire in the woods, I'll show you right here, is a fire starter like this and some lighter fluid. But chances are real good you're not going to have that if you're really out in the wilderness. Now, in Texas, you know, many of us, most of us, we're not going to find ourselves in a wilderness situation, but you can get, you know, there's a situation might arise where you need to start a fire to warm up. Say you're out duck hunting, you get cold and it's 10 degrees out there. Another good method is a flint and steel. I'm going to show you how this works, but I carry this in a pack. This is just a flint and steel to strike it with. I'll give you a good close-up here in a minute. I carry it in this little pack here, and in the pack is a bunch of oilcloths, we'll call them, saturated with oil. Pieces of fabric. But you can take this flint and steel and you can take this and you can start a fire. This thing will burn for 5 or 6 minutes. But I carry it a little farther in my pack. I always keep some. This right here is dryer lint off of a clothes dryer. You've got it at your house. Stuff is an awesome tinder for starting a fire. Actually, it's wet out here today. We're going to start a fire. It's real wet. It's been raining. But you can look up in some of these dead trees and get some little twigs. If it's real wet, that's a good thing to do too. And especially if you can find junipers or cedar trees, they have the pitch in them just like a pine. So I'm going to show you how this flint and steel works. I think it might be interesting to you. Will you need it very often? Probably not. But when you need it, you're going to really need it. So let's start a fire on some. We'll get out here in a fire pit where it's real wet, lay a log down, and then just start a fire on it. And then obviously you can use the tinder that you get from your leaves and limbs and a little lint from your dryer and start your fire. So let's check it out. Okay, my friends, here is a really wet piece of wood that you're looking at with a little bit of that oilcloth on it right there. And of course, we're not going to start this big chunk of wood burning, but we're going to start a little fire there and then put a little of the lint from the dryer on it. That'll create a good dry spot and a good blaze. And then we can pile on the tinder, you know, the small dry branches or little bitty pieces of limb or whatever. So let me get down here and let's use this. Here's the flint and steel. The flint is actually right here. So we're going to really get going and create some spark here, and this will start our fire. Watch this. Look at that. Now that'll burn. That's that oilcloth right there. That'll burn for a good 5 minutes. But what I'm thinking, where I always like to carry the lint with me, I like to use that to get the fire going even a little bit faster. It's real helpful. I don't know why lint burns so well, but here it is right here. That's just lint from a dryer, clothes dryer. Kind of open that up, lay that up. Now you've got your wood or your tinder already laid by. Take your lint. This will burn for another 5 minutes. Put that on there when you get your tinder on it. And bingo, that's all soaking wet there, folks. But that fire will burn for, at least 10 minutes with that oilcloth below it. And we just used a flint and steel. So hopefully this will help you. Go get you a flint and steel. They're pretty widely available. You can find them a lot of places, but you won't need them every time you go out field, but when you need them, you're going to need them bad. Hope it helped a little bit, folks. Folks, thanks so much for joining us. This segment of our show is brought to us by Gearhead Archery, Snaplock Hunting Blinds, Smoking Texas Electric Smokers, TRHP Outdoors, Ultramatic Feeders, and Catfish Pro Catfish Bait and Catfishing Supplies. Make sure and tune in next week. We'll have another exciting show ready to go for you.